Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hey everyone, Owlvine here. So I have reached 300 subscribers. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't believe this has happened. Oh, and so quickly too. Thank you all so much for subscribing and for watching and for commenting. I think my favourite part is when you guys comment and kind of interact with me, and I really love that. I really love writing back to you and all that sort of thing. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Noah Tempestarii. I've said thank you to him elsewhere, but I wanted to kind of say it in a video as well. He mentioned me on his channel sometime last week, I think it was, and you know, I've had a lot of people come over to me and check me out since then and kind of stick around to see what's going on. So thank you so much, Noah. You are truly amazing and I really, really appreciate it. So hello to everyone who's new. It's lovely to have you here. Today I wanted to do a video on spells. Oh, and before I do, my hair's purple. Look, it's actually finally truly purple. The angels sing, the stars align, the hair is purple. I'm so happy. It's been a bit of a journey to get it to this color, and I'm so excited, and I love my hair, so it's purple. It's really cold today, so I'm drinking tea as well. It's my favorite tea at the moment. I say in other videos I don't like having favorites. I like to have sort of like temporary favourites. Like I have things that I really like at a certain time, and then, you know, I like to be fluid in life, and then I have other things that I like more at different times, whatever. Anyway, this week or two, the current favourite is Caramel Rooibos Tea by Twinings. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And it's really cold, so I'm just like holding it to keep warm. And it's so delicious. Alright. So I wanted to do a video on spell work, and this is prompted by the YouTube Pagan Challenge week 15 question, which is, what's the actual question? I think it's, how do you do spell work, or something like that. I don't know, something to do with spells. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to talk about how I do spells. Now, as far as I can kind of tell from what I've researched and how I've seen other people talk about spellcraft, a lot of people tend to write out the spells that they do before they perform them. You know, they'll write an incantation, they'll kind of have, you know, a little, what's the word, like not a system, that's not a very nice word, but like a layout of kind of how the spell's going to go, and that's fairly standard, right? I used to do that, you know, particularly like last year, you know, in the beginning I was really doing a lot of spell work that way, and it never really felt right for me. Like it felt too rigid, just because I wasn't sort of able to flow in the moment. And the way that I do spellcraft now, which feels really good for me, is that I do it very my mind's in a million places. I do it very intuitively. So I kind of have a basic outline. Of course I have my outcome firmly in mind, you know, what I want to happen from the spell or come out of, you know, the working, you know, my purpose. Oh, excuse me, tea burp. So I have that firmly in mind, and, you know, I may journal about that before the spell work, you know, kind of depending on what it is and how much it's been on my mind and all that kind of stuff, to get kind of a firm kind of grasp on what it is, and kind of as many of the factors that I can kind of think about around the spell work as well. And then I'll just have a very basic structure, sometimes written down, but usually just mentally, you know, maybe a few of the tools that I'm going to use in the particular spell work, and how that's kind of going to look. But I really allow myself the freedom and flexibility within the crafting space to kind of do whatever comes to me at the time. So each time I do spell work, it's different. I don't think I've ever done the same spell twice. No, I've never done the same working twice. I've done workings for the same thing more than once, but never in the same way. it just feels right to me to kind of flow with it, you know. And because when I'm kind of reciting an incantation that I've written beforehand, I get really distracted by reading it out, and I kind of feel like I lose, you know, some of my juice, some of my muse as I'm kind of going along. So I like to just let whatever words come out at the time come out, and that's how I do most of my spell work now. And I really work, at the moment, I'm really working with the energetic model. So when I perform workings, I often don't speak out loud. I actually don't really, I don't know what the word is, like invoke or incantate or, you know, spell, I suppose, speak. Sometimes I do, but often I actually do it in my head. And what I really focus on doing at the moment, generally speaking, when I'm crafting, is I'm a very visual and a very kinesthetic person. So I really feel the energies, you know, that maybe I'm putting into something or pushing out, or, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, and, you know, I really visualize that kind of process as well. So I may see it, you know, as colored light, or, you know, whatever it may be. So that's how I actually spellcraft. And when I spellcraft, this is kind of like a little side note, I guess. I don't cast a circle ever now. I did it again a few times in the beginning, and it never really felt right. Like, I just, you know, it just didn't quite mesh with me. I really like the idea, and, you know, obviously it works amazingly for most people, or a lot of people at least. Yeah, but it just kind of, I don't know, I just never felt juiced doing it. I've used that word a few times. That's a Tony Robbins word, by the way, juiced. Yeah, it just never quite clicked with me. I don't know, I just didn't feel right doing it. So I experimented with other ways to kind of draw out sacred space, if you will. And so I do that in a different way now. And basically the way I do that is, most of the time, is I center myself. So for me, when I center, it's a very kinesthetic thing. So I feel myself centering. And then I ground, so I feel and I visualize energy roots, if you will, and they're blue for me, and they go into the earth and they connect with this land. I've mentioned to you before that the land that I live on now is very sacred to me, and I feel like this land is really protecting me. The whole space feels sacred to me, so I kind of connect with this space of land itself and draw up its protective energies and, you know, that kind of thing. Just really connect to that space and kind of draw upon what's already there. And then what I do is I have that within me, and then from my center space, from that space that feels like my center, I then kind of push out an energetic field or bubble, whatever it is, and that actually looks blue as well. So I guess in a way, I mean, it is a variation of circle. Like, you know, if I was to tell someone who wasn't a practicing witch that I did that, they'd be like, yeah, it's a circle, like whatever. But it's not necessarily a circle shape, I suppose. And often, not often, but I'll push that sometimes just to the space that I'm working in, or I'll push that to my whole home, or I'll push that to this land here. And it depends, you know, what I'm doing it for as well. Like, if I'm just working a specific spell, I may just do it around me. And I do that as well for general protection of myself, general shielding of myself. And so that's how I kind of draw circle, kind of a side note on spellcraft there. So yes, that's how I spellcraft. I spellcraft fairly regularly. I don't do it as much as I actually feel called to. So I have been, especially lately, really been feeling called to be doing more crafting. So that's something that I'm listening to, and I have been doing a little bit more of, and I always forget like how much I love it. Like, I truly feel invigorated and alive when I'm crafting, you know, like I just feel like, yes, this is I don't know if I want to say who I am, but this is my space. You know, this is my jam. Like, I love this shit. So I've been doing that a lot more and just really loving it and feeling called to it and all that sort of thing. So, but as a general rule, there's no rule, but like, I don't know, maybe like once a month or something. It has been kind of in the past few months, kind of in terms of how often I craft. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit more often now. And this is kind of another side note. I'm actually so excited. I'm making an order with a amazing witch for a spell kit. There's a spell kit that I've kind of, an idea I've had on my mind, and I've approached her, and she's going to be making that for me really soon, and I'm so excited. I'll probably do like a little unboxing thing and whatever. But that's going to be, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Oh. Okay, so that's how I spellcraft. Yeah, and it was interesting actually. AthenaBeth Black, who I adore, hi girl, if you're watching, she was talking about, you know, in her video of this week's challenge, she was talking about how spellcraft and magic are different. You know, she doesn't do spellcraft, you know, that often, but she does magic more regularly, and how they're kind of different. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, I hadn't really sat down and kind of thought about that before, you know, sort of consciously. And yeah, like doing a spell, I suppose, feels a little bit more kind of structured or something, like specific. And magic, I think, encompasses a lot, you know, so much more beyond that. And there's been this discussion lately on, you know, what is a witch, what makes a witch. And for me, for my definition of myself, a witch is someone who crafts. For me, witchcraft isn't my religion, it's my craft. It's what I do. It's how I live my life. It's kind of my model of the world. And for me, my spirituality is paganism. You know, so I view the earth as divine and sacred, and all that is therein and all that is beyond that. And I think we all are an expression of one divine source, if you will. You know, I think that everything is divine and divinity is within everything. Anyway, I think that, you know, sometimes all this stuff gets a little bit convoluted and kind of mixed up because our spiritualities do very much affect our craft. And I think a lot of people kind of come to the idea that, you know, they have particular spiritual views and therefore all witches have those views. But to me, witchcraft is a doing word. Witchcraft is a craft. And spirituality is something that is very much tied into that. But it doesn't define witchcraft either. And these words are really hard to define, because, especially witch, because it's changed so much through history, and the way we use it now is not how it was used a couple of years ago. Is not how it was used a couple of 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, we've really claimed it and made it our own, and it's something else that it wasn't necessarily before. You know, and witchcraft has been through all cultures and all times in humanity, you know, so it's very hard to define. And, you know, there's a lot of squabbling going on about, you know, what is a witch and all this kind of thing. But those are kind of my definitions for myself. I don't necessarily believe that they're true, if that makes sense. So if people hold different views to me, I don't think that they're wrong at all. This is just how I've chosen to kind of define it for myself, and how I feel about, you know, the word witch and whatever. I've kind of gone off on a little woo here, but I feel like these things have been on my mind and they all kind of interplay with each other. So that's how I spellcraft. I think that's everything I wanted to say on it. I hope so. And that's how I kind of define witch, or define myself as a witch. And I think I touched briefly on magic in there too. So there you go. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm very excited to be back on YouTube. I say this every time. I plan to be making videos more regularly. Here's a little, if you've made it to the end, here's like a little extra thing I'll chuck in here. Making videos for me is quite difficult. Like I have this, like this inner critic thing going on, right? You know how we have this voice, and sometimes it takes a lot of energy for me to actually sit down in front of the camera. You know, I have this this kind of fear that, you know, I won't say all the things that I want to say, and I'll come across in the wrong way, and I'll fumble over my words, which I think I've done pretty well in this video so far, actually. You know, just all this kind of stuff, and I've been allowing it to kind of stop me from sitting down and expressing myself how I really want to. So there's a little disclosure for you if you made it till the end. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I really appreciate you know, everyone who likes my videos and who leaves comments. Even if you don't do that and you just watch, like, it means so much to me. It really does. I thank you for holding this sacred space for me, and this space where I'm able to express myself in such an authentic way. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate every single one of you. I wish you all much love and many blessings, and I hope you're having a fantastic week wherever you are in the world. And say hi if you want to say hi. If you have any questions about what I've said or anything at all, leave them down below. Any comments, queries, whatever. You can connect with me on Facebook if you want to. I'm kind of on there a little bit more regularly now, and kind of share a little bit more of myself, I think, in a different way, at least, to what I do on here. So if you want to connect a bit more, drop me a line. I accept all friend requests, so you don't have to be worried about being rejected or anything like that. I love you. I wish you all much love. As I said, I hope you have a fantastic week. I'm pretty sure I've said this 50,000 times now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.